Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic, and today we are going to be trying a chapter of each one of these Illumicrate books. Hello everyone, and welcome to a try chapter vlog where we're going to try a chapter of each one of these and then pick a winner and see which one of these Illumicrate books ends up being read at this time. Now, I don't have plans to get rid of the rest of these books if I don't choose them for this video. They're just probably going to go back on my TBR for now. We're just seeing which one I am most in the mood for right now, which one I want to prioritize. I'm excited to try this. I've seen other people do this over the years, and I don't think I personally have ever done one quite like this where I try the chapter and then read the book and report back to you all. So that is the plan. Since these are Illumicrate books and they're very, very pretty, I'm planning on showing you a little bit of the features of each one as we go along, and I'm excited to try this. I'm thinking that maybe this will be a new video that I can try every once in a while. If you have any specific themes or specific books you think I should try the first chapter of to get a feel for it and see if you think it'll work for me, let me know down in the comments and I will check it out. But I think that's all the introduction we need. We are going to jump right into the books and I'll give you descriptions as we go along. Hello everyone, so my first book, the one that was on the top of the pile, is the Jasad Heir by Sara Hashem, and this is not my favorite of the Illumicrate redos. Like, it's a pretty similar to the original cover. It just doesn't like super stand out, but I still like it. It's still pretty. In this, we're following Sylvia, I think, who is the heir to this kingdom, but her family and her people were all brutally murdered in the past because this other kingdom took over. This is 10 years ago. She's been in hiding. Magic reveals people from like the past kingdom and they are killed. A familiar premise. And I was interested to see how this went. And when I started reading it, I have been trying to only get adult books from Illumicrate because I'm really outside of my YA phase, so I thought this was adult. When I went and read it, it read very YA to me, so I went and checked and it is adult. So that was the first mark against it. And then the chapter was almost 20 pages long. That felt a little long to me, and I honestly can't tell you what happened in this first chapter. I was so confused, and I can take being confused in a first chapter of a book because I read fantasy a lot and you usually have to trust the process, but this one I was really confused. There were a lot of characters. I wasn't following what was going on. It was one of those stories that starts to feel familiar because I'm familiar with fantasy and rebellion and hidden heirs and all of those things, but I really couldn't sink into the story. I really couldn't sink into it and follow it and figure out what was going on. I don't know if it was a writing style problem or what, but I think this is going to be a DNF. Hello, so this is Julie from the future, editing Julie right here. And she's decided that this is going to be a DNF for now rather than a hardcore DNF as she's editing this video. So the rest of this video is going to talk like this book was a hardcore DNF. But just reflecting back on how things went at the beginning of this video and how deep in a slump I was, I don't think I should have started this video when I did and read this first chapter when I did. I honestly think I just need to go back and see if it was me or the chapter. So it's not the one that I prioritized, obviously, but I've kind of changed my mind upon review and thinking back, and just curious if this is going to work for me more at a time when I'm not so deep in a slump. So just an FYI that I've kind of changed my mind on this one after some reflection.
When you call up, I get
Hello everyone, and I'm here to talk about A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. I have read the first chapter of this, sort of. I have been in a bit of a reading slump for the past few weeks. If I'm honest, it was like mostly April and May, the beginning of May, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it. I've been doing some rereading and such outside of this vlog and getting through that. I read this about a week ago and I've really been thinking about it because there were things I did and did not like about this first chapter. And honestly, I'm thinking about going to read some reviews about what goes on in the rest of this book to see if this is going to be a Julie book, because it seems interesting. And I would be interested to know your thoughts as well if you've read this book, because the first chapter was interesting, but it's not what the book is going to be about. Like, that's none of the things that happened in that we're talking about in the description happened in this first chapter, and it doesn't even feel like we are close to that plot point. So I would be really interested to hear if anyone has read further in this book and what they thought of it. So I might do some research to see if I want to keep reading with this, because the main characters, or who I think are going to be the main characters, didn't really grab me, and it's a little bit of a school setting right now, and I don't really jive with those for the most part. So if we're going to stay in the school for longer, it might not be a book for me, but if this is going to be an adventure, it might be a book for me. But I also didn't love the writing style. I really felt like I couldn't keep track of what was going on in this book. This one I'm really feeling on the fence about, and we'll have to see if I decide that it's going to be a keep, a DNF, or just a not for now, type book. So, but that one really, I like read it, like I said, like a week ago, and I've really gone back and forth about it this whole time. I kind of like thought I would update you later, and then I just kept thinking about the book and not having the time to update the vlog. So this is just kind of the result of all of that. But the next one I think will be Starling House, and then we'll see where we go from there.
We're just cooped up in a cruiser on a Friday night. We could let it ride. Why'd you say I quit being overthinking about everything? Give it up, tell you what I wanna say right now. Cause I could do the John Hughes kinda old cliche, but either way, I need to say anything.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first porch update in a little while. So I have read the first chapter of Starling House by Alix Harrow. Now, this worked for me much better. This is the top contender so far of what I'm going to read. But now, why is that? Now, the chapter was short. I'm also not feeling like I finished 2 books, and I feel like I'm getting out of my reading slump. Also, I feel like the first chapter was like snappier, like much more like it hooked me a lot more. I know I like Alix Harrow's writing, so that feels like a little bit of a cheat. The chapter itself just really grabbed me. So I also like house books, so I'm curious. Just lots of things, lots of contributing factors here that might be the reason that this one worked better for me than the other 2. But so far this is in the lead of what I'm gonna pick up. Hello everyone, so I have read the first chapter of Phoenix Keeper, and this is about a Phoenix Keeper, a young woman who is currently working in magical bird conservation, but the birds have, I guess this program has kind of gone dormant in the past 10 years, and she is just trying to take care of these magical creatures as best she can. The description says that one of these is going to get stolen, or I believe stolen from a neighboring zoo, but that hasn't happened yet. We just got an introduction to our main character and some of her charges, and I love this. hesitantly. I really liked the voice of the main character, and I really liked the idea of all the animals, but the writing style does lean a little on the not quite YA side, but just the less complex side. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm interested in trying it and giving it a really good, good try. But I think it is still second on the list as far as books I would want to read. I think this one would be fun, but I don't know that I'm in the mood for it right now. So Starling House is still my number one pick, but I'm really interested in this. I think I have the right expectations going in because I've heard a few people talk about this and kind of talk about it being cozy and fantastical, but also a little, more on the, like I said, less, not just like more debut writing, a little bit more less complex side of the writing. So I'm excited for this still. It really grabbed me. If you've seen me read the cryptozoology series lately, I feel like that has set me up to be really excited for this. And also I'm really loving fantasies that blend science and magic together, and that feels like what this book is going to do, but cozy. So I'm excited for that. So still on my radar, still excited for this, but not the top pick right now.
Quit being overthinking about everything. Give it up, tell you what I wanna say right now. 'Cause I could do the John Hughes kind of cliche, but either way, I need to say anything.
Okay, so now we've finished the first chapter of Watermoon, which this one feels a little unfair because the first chapter was only about 5 pages. All the other first chapters were longer than that, and this one felt very short in comparison. But in this, we started following a young woman who is going to take over her father's magical pawn shop after he retires, and we get a little bit of the history of her and her father and a few tantalizing bits about what their relationship, why she's taking over, there's a few things that are just leading us to be curious about their relationship and what's going on here. So that was very interesting, but it was only a few pages. It didn't quite grab me the way some of these other books have. So I think I'm still going to stick with Starling House being the pick for what I'm going to pick up and read and report back. So that will be what we do for the rest of this vlog. Hello everyone. So we are in the middle of the Amazing Readathon, and I decided to pick up Starling House. This audiobook came in from the library, and since I've been wanting to finish up this try a chapter video, I thought I'll borrow this, I'll fit it in somewhere, and I'm already 16% through. I'm 50 pages in at this point, and I'm having a really good time. This feels a little bit like Crimson Peak. It feels a little bit like The Last Tale of the Flower Bride with haunted house vibes that I was like, this is what I wanted out of, especially The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. I'm getting the right amount of spooky and enough folklore behind this that I am really, really curious about what is happening. I'm fascinated. I'm about 20% in at this point, so I'm going to keep reading. But we are following Opal, who is a young woman who's trying to make it in the world. She is poor. She's living in a hotel with her brother, basically on charity. The two of them are just trying to make it through the world, and Opal is trying to get enough money that her brother can get out of this town and go to a better school so that he is not stuck here like she feels she is. And Arthur is the caretaker of Starling House, which it seems like the house has murdered some of his family members, but is Arthur a reliable narrator? Is he actually doing this, is the house actually doing this, or is it him? Is it someone else? Is it another force? Lots and lots of questions here. I am very curious, but Opal has accepted a job to help clean Starling House after having dreams about it for years and years. And Arthur has let her take this job. He's offered her this job, hoping that the house will scare her off and she won't continue to be interested in the house. So I am very interested to continue this book. This continues to be gorgeous. I have been this whole time really trying not to let the slip jacket slip off because it's so slippery. But then there's also these really cool illustrations. I don't know if this is in the regular version or if it's just in the Illumicrate, but these illustrations are really cool and interesting. I've only come across a couple of them so far, but Opal and Arthur, very cool. I'm excited to keep reading this. I love Alix Harrow's writing, so I'm thrilled that this is working for me so far. Very cool. But that's my update on this one for now. Will tell you more when I get a little further. Hello, I've reached 50% of Starling House, and I love this book. I love this book. I knew I loved Alix Harrow's writing style, but I love this book. It is full of mystery and houses and books within books and fairy tales and folklore and houses that communicate with you, and I love it. I love this book. I don't think it's going to be for everyone because it's very suggesting, like there's a lot of stuff that is very vague about like how the magic works and what's going on and everything, and some people are going to want more explanation, especially, I mean, we're 50% in, so we could get more, but like I feel like especially about what we've gotten so far, there's going to be people who will have wanted more details. But this is working so incredibly well for me. I'm just really enjoying the writing style and how mysterious it is. I love a character. Opal is our main character, and I love a character that you support their rights and their wrongs. And Opal is kind of that person. Like, she's very morally gray. She has her own reasons for doing things, and she is going to keep doing them. She's going to keep doing the wrong thing if it's going to keep her and her brother safe and alive, and that's part of this book. And then Arthur is our other voice. He isn't quite as much of a main character as Opal is. Like, he is definitely the other main character, but we don't get his voice nearly as often. He's a little more mysterious and background than her. Like, she is definitely our main voice, and he is just also very fascinating. I love him, and I support both of them in all instances so far. Like, there is so much happening, and there's this one instance, something just happened where, how do I say this, like there's a point where you're like, oh, you need to tell Opal the truth, and he tells her some of the truth, and the rest of the time you're just screaming, tell her the whole truth. And I'm still screaming. I'm definitely getting 5-star vibes. I love this book so far. Also, just like, I'm following along. I'm listening to the audiobook, but I'm also like tandem reading this with the physical book. And the illustrations are just so cool. I don't know if they are also in the regular book, but they are so cool in this Illumicrate version. And I'm loving this book. I'm having a great time. I'm so happy that I love this. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit on this try chapter tag because I loved another book by Alix Harrow, The Once and Future Witches, but I tried all the chapters and this is the one that stood out. I do feel like this is the one that would have won regardless because I love a haunted house. I love a sentient house. 5 stars. I loved this book. I finished it. I cried, I laughed, I had such a good time. This was such a well done story. Now, I do want to say, I don't think that I would classify this as fantasy. I think I would classify this as horror, more specifically a haunted house story, a haunted town story, a haunting through several times and places. I don't want to give away too much, but this is just deliciously built. I do feel like I got to the point in the middle where I thought if this was another author or if it had been done differently, I think we would have split this into a duology, but Alix Harrow really only writes standalones as far as I've seen her do. So we got a standalone which was really strong, really well developed. The pacing was so well done. I do think some people are going to want more explanation of what happened or how things worked out or how things work generally, and that's okay, but I think this worked perfectly. I don't have any gripes. I had a fantastic time. I liked Opal and I liked Arthur, much like in the What's and Future Witches. We have characters in these books that have to grow on you. Their development, their character growth is what makes you adore them. They are kind of unlikable at the beginning, but by the end of the book, I loved them. I liked how complex each one of our characters were. Like, we had several characters in here that had a lot of depth to them, how we explored a lot of different relationships. I love an author who puts so much growth and meaning and development into each one of their sentences and each one of their words, that I got to the end of this book and the atmosphere and the writing just brought me to this little Kentucky town, and I just was fully enveloped in this story. It was so incredibly well done. I had a great time. Loved it. I will continue to read Alix E. Harrow books, and I assume love them. Now, as far as try chapter goes, I read Starling House. I am going to try Phoenix House at some point, and I plan on keeping The Dark and Drowning Tide and Watermoon to try. I do think the Jasad Heir is one that's not going to work for me, but The Dark and Drowning Tide I felt so conflicted about, and I was in the middle of kind of a reading slump at that point, that I don't want to DNF that and then try it later some way else and like it. I'm going to make a goal to try A Dark and Drowning Tide again before the end of this year, so that if I go back to it and still don't feel strongly about it, I'll DNF it. But those three, I think I'm going to keep, DNF one, and get a 5-star. So this is a successful try chapter vlog. If you have any thoughts or feelings or want to share anything about the books I talked about today, please let me know down below. If you aren't feeling chatty and you want to let me know you were here, I think there is a crow or at least a blackbird emoji, so definitely leave me that for Starling House. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!